Today, I'm going to be tackling two things. The games I'm looking forward to most for the year 2025, and then following that, a list of my favorite games up to this point, going back years. Now, I looked at a lot of games. There's bound to be games that I missed. There's bound to be games that you think I should have included. But the truth is that I'm fallible, and my tastes are not going to be the same as yours. I excluded games that seemed overly kid-centric. I excluded games that were just naturally cartoony, and I excluded games that seemed kind of low effort. For me, talking about VR games, if something is good, it's because it makes the best of VR. It takes the most immersive elements of gaming, and it converts it into a medium that can be expressed in VR to where it separates it from flat screen. What is it bringing to the table in VR that it's not doing, or that it can't do in flat screen? Those are the metrics. And so granted, I'm not going to see everything. I'm a very busy guy. And so if you have a game that you think is missing, that you think needs an honorable mention, or that just criminally, outright deserve to be in this list, tell me in the comments. It might make it in a future video. This is all about taste. And in the second half of this video, it's going to be made clear what my tastes are. And hopefully you align with me. Maybe you won't. We'll see. You guys are watching Bringhurst VR. And to begin, the games I'm looking forward to, given the small pool of stuff incoming, it's kind of slim pickings, but excluding the garbage, I'm going to begin with, in no particular order, Le Mans Ultra. This is coming out through Steam VR. It's been out through early access and is supposed to go wide launch come July 22nd. This is from Studio 397, and this new update, this official release, is supposed to come with an update that includes 2 free 2025 cars, the Aston Martin Valkyrie LMH and the Mercedes-AMG LMG T3, alongside promised improvements to polish and performance. And they're talking about including a single-player career mode that's still in production, but they let you take on, with set teams and progress through the ranks while making these career-impacting choices based on race results. Those updates I just mentioned can be expected in a Q1 2026 release, but the game itself is expected July 22nd on Steam, PC VR, and it's out now for early access. This next game I'm including because I don't know. It's Monster Titan's Playground. And you can see from this footage, I mean, it's nothing to call home about. It's pretty simple, pretty basic. But I'm such a fan of the teardown system. I love these destructible walls. Everything you see, you can break. And I want more of that in VR. It's pretty rare. It reminds me of like Clone Drone in the Hyperdome. Another super simple game that kept things basic, but that delivered on these kind of hyper-realistic mechanics to where you could break and cut and dice anything you see. And I like that. And so even though I could ask for more from this game in terms of shading and polygons, I'm always happy to see something ultra-destructible. This is one of those rare situations where I'm leaning into fun and less on impressive graphics, but only time will tell. This is scheduled to drop July 24th of this year, 2025, and I'm hopeful. And up next, I have Course Archery. Currently, it's available through MetaQuest with early access, and it's $11.99. It's not officially out yet, whatever that means, but it is coming to Steam VR later this month, July of 2025. It's not something that's going to benefit from Steam VR outside of increased resolution, which is always welcome. I'll take it. The thing that drives me to talk about this game is how similar it looks to something like Walkabout Mini Golf. The maps look inspired. I come from a family who, when we go camping, we're all about frisbee golf, and the idea of archery in something like this seems like it could be fun if they can expand the maps, if they can keep up with it the way that the guys at Walkabout Mini Golf have. I think this game could be a blast, and I'm excited to try it. Again, it's available on the MetaQuest 3 right now through early access. Use my link down below to save 10%, but I'm also curious to see what Steam VR brings to the table. Up next, we have Space Drop VR. Currently, it's available on MetaQuest, but on July 11th, it's officially dropping on Steam VR, and it looks like the graphics are going to be impressively improved. So if you're a fan of this game, or if you want to check it out for the first time, it looks like it's going to be a fun game, similar to something like Synth Riders Beat Saber, but set to space, plowing through obstacles as you make way for the next tunnel, and it doesn't look terrible. This next game is Space Explorers, coming to MetaQuest sometime this month, July 2025. I don't see it coming to Steam, and it looks uniquely impressive for the platform. It gives you the opportunity to play in zero gravity and experience some of the protocols and what it's like to live on a space station. It looks enthralling, it looks big, and it looks like they put a lot of work into it given the constraints of the MetaQuest 3 headset. I'm looking forward to it. I wish I had a date, but when it does come out, find it in the link down below. The last game on this list for upcoming is Wanderer Fragments of Fate, and you may have watched my video previously. I'll link it down below for MetaQuest standalone. It was not terribly kind. I was an enormous fan of the original Wanderer on Steam VR. I felt like given the mechanics and the way you interacted with the world, it was one of the more impressive games that aligned closely with something like Alyx, just in terms of how you maneuvered through the world. I really liked it. It was a blast. It's impressive. But this update they launched for the MetaQuest 3, never mind the limitations of the headset and having to kind of dumb down textures and polygons. That's not what I'm here about. Plenty of people, newcomers to this channel, are gonna say that, you know, what do you expect? It's Quest. But that was never my issue. I understand you have to break things down, tear it apart, build it back up, and make it compatible with the X2 chip. Fine. My issue is that they completely reinvented the game. The structure was all there, but what was initially simple puzzles and maneuvering through a world with gloves, with hands, and a wrist that would react to you. You had a buddy that you could talk to and kind of help you solve these issues. They gave you a full body, which is, it's just introducing jank. And then they introduced combat, which you'd think, you know, great, combat, good. But combat bad.
Huh? Keep an eye out. He's here somewhere. Show yourself, vermin! Hiding like a little cockroach. Come out and play. There he is! Ah! Oh! Ah!
You got NPCs that are just, it's the worst dialogue you've ever heard. It's terrible. It's no good. The punches don't land. There's no impact. The sound effects are terrible. It just took what was a solid game to begin with and upgraded some of the textures and just broke it down, destroyed it by adding these elements of combat that didn't need to be there. I think that it aligned more with something like Myst at the time, and now it's not dissimilar from something like, you know, Asgard's Wrath. Like, it's all just reaching for the sky. It's reaching for too much to the point that it all falls down and crumbles around it. And so I say that to say that they're constantly launching these new updates, these patches. I haven't touched it since it came out. Maybe it's improved, but Steam VR is not yet out. And I am in the Discord. I'm talking to the developers on a semi-regular basis. They're super nice. They're super talented. I know they are because I played the original game. And while I doubt that, you know, my pleas for returning to normalcy are going to be heard or enacted, they are telling me to wait for PCVR, to give it a second chance, and so I'm going to. I look forward to it. Please prove me wrong and make this good again. Make Wanderer great again. And so that's supposed to come out July of this year. I think those are rumors. We don't know anything. You know, the original game, when it was launching for Quest 3, it was pushed a month, 3 months, 6 months, and a year later it finally came out. So I can't promise anything, but I am looking forward to giving this a second shot because I know what these people are capable of and I want to support them, and you should too. And that's it for upcoming games. If I missed something, please let me know down below. I'm positive I did. And with that, we've got my favorite games of the past billion years, which is like 8 years, maybe. But first, a word from our sponsor. I'm just kidding. I don't have a sponsor, but if I did have a sponsor, this would be a perfect place to put it. I'm only doing mid-roll ads now. I'm not doing sponsored episodes anymore. Not these fully dedicated things, because it drains me, because it breaks me down. And so now, you know, yeah, I'd love to feature gun stocks and head straps and upcoming games. But if you want to see it here, if you're a developer, you got to do the mid-roll advert. And I'll tell you why it's better. It's better because these are the kinds of videos that people like. Nobody wants to sit through a 15-minute video that is about a game that isn't great, that is a Gorilla Tag clone, that caters to kids. You want to take that video, you want to take your product, your game, your head strap, and you want to plug it into a video that's doing well, talking about upcoming games. My God, this video is doing so well. This is going terribly. And back to the video. Again, in no particular order, favorite games of the past 8 years. And I'm not going to include Half-Life Alyx because that's on everyone's list. It was on a list that I had in the past, and that thing had like 150,000 views. It was beautiful. It was blowing up. I was borderline famous, and then I deleted the video. You know why? Because I had just borrowed like trailers. It was really low effort stuff. That was like 2 years ago, and everything was copyrighted. It was just low effort garbage. I hated myself for it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't live with it. And the keen observer among you will notice that there's no trailer music in this. I'm not giving it to him. This is my video. But really, Half-Life Alyx is the best game. I'm going to begin with Paper Beast VR through Steam VR. This is not MetaQuest specific. It's across multiple things. But I don't have PSVR 2, so don't expect it. I'm sorry. Paper Beast was originally a flat screen game on Steam that just blew my mind. And when it came out on VR, it was like nothing I'd ever played. You're in a world of these beasts that integrate with the world, but they're made of paper and they have offspring and they react to your presence. And it's you exploring this landscape and cave system, and there's all these enigmas and weird stuff that can't be accounted for, and everything you do affects the world around you. And I'll never forget when I was exploring this cave system, there was this moment where there's this vortex of just angry debris, like a black hole just sucking and swirling. And you stand on the precipice of this lip of this cavern looking out into this empty space, but with debris zipping and screaming by and lightning briefly lighting it. And it's one of the most immersive, wild, and quietly terrifying experiences I've had in VR. I'll never forget it. Next up, I'm going to talk about Jest Island. This is an older game, available on Steam VR, and it's a simple premise. You have cannons on each of your arms, and you have a hoverboard that you can drop behind your back or dock at your feet, and when it's under you, you glide. The island is covered in mountains and slopes and ramps. Overhead, there's this giant mechanical snake that's flying through the air all the time, and it'll keep you wondering how to get up there, what you do with that. But below you in the caverns, you've got endless caves and paths to explore. You've got these imprints on the ground that when you go over them, they boost you forward so you can get some speed, get some air. And it's more an exploratory thing to begin with, but in the end, you end up with boss battles, boss fights. You end up discovering some mechanics, especially with the use of your grappling gun, to where you can grip something and pull yourself forward. The whole thing is really cool. I'm not going to go into it more than that. I don't want to give anything away, but it's a fun game that is deceptively simple, and you should try it out if you haven't. Next up, this is both Quest 3 and Steam VR, but I'm going to talk about Contractors. Contractors does what COD wishes it was in VR. It does what Onward VR can't quite do, simply because of the mods that it offers. You can play any game and find a community that's toxic, that's filled with kids and squeakers, but Contractors is unique in the sense that, for me, it really goes out of its way to make the most of mods, to where without installing anything, without any additional software, there's a modding community, and you can pick up and install from the game itself hundreds of maps, some of which include the suburban neighborhood from Call of Duty, zombies from the original Call of Duty World at War, not like rebuilt from the ground up, but it is the map, it is the game. It's very cool. I spent hundreds of hours in that game back in like 2013, 2014, and it's magic exploring it now.
Oh no! Oh! Oh no! Oh, oh, oh! Oh no!
Why has everyone abandoned the doctor?
Oh my god!
Pay double for my effort. Let me.
Oh no! What the crap?
Next up, I want to touch on Space Engine VR. This is strictly Steam. I'm sorry, but it is wild. It is so in-depth. You can visit any star, any planet that we've mapped. You can visit our sun. You can visit our moon. You can land on Earth and look up at the moon. You can visit these planets, and you can choose at what rate you move through space. How many light years a second. And I'll be honest, I haven't explored the full limits of what this game can do. It can do a lot. It's a laboratory to just, for those of you who have a telescope and you look up at Saturn in the night sky in August, it's cool. It's really cool kind of coupling that with your interest in space and seeing how planets react to black holes. And just visiting firsthand with 3D, with VR, these nebulas and planetary systems, solar systems, it's very cool. Next up, an oldie but a goodie, I want to talk about Robo-Recall. It's an old game. I mean, it's one of the first, but it holds up. It begins with you and a crowd of robots. This is the future, and robots are everywhere. They're just commonplace, they're part of the world, and there's this sudden alert that there's this virus, a corruption in the database to where they've all turned. And now you're in the middle of it, and every robot in the city wants to kill you. And so it's you with a voice via the intercom around you telling you when something's incoming. When someone shoots at you, realistic or not, you can grab the bullet from the air, throw it back at them. The movement mechanics are great. Everything about it is great. And this is available on Quest 3 now. It was initially just Steam VR. Steam VR looks better. Frame rate is better. Always do Steam if you can, but Quest, it's a decent port. It works well and it stands the test of time. And last up, I'm going to focus on MetaQuest 3. This is Lies Beneath. It's an older title from a few years ago, but it holds up. They make use of this comic book style to where they take complicated terrains and they boil it down to something palatable and that can play well on the MetaQuest 3, but they maintain the horror aesthetic. I'm not going to go into the story too much, except to say that you're separated from a loved one and you're trying to get back to them. These towns, this rubble, these different locations that feel especially haunted. And the method by which you save is this doll hovering in the air and you grab it, and when you do, it kind of evaporates. That's a small thing. I mean, that has nothing to do with the story, really. Like, not up front anyhow, but it's a cool aesthetic that really leans into the horror element of what this is trying to do. And if you haven't played it, you should check it out. I really like this game. I've liked it forever. And that's it. I know that I've missed a ton of games. Someone is yelling about Boneworks. Another person is yelling about Elite Dangerous and Star Wars Squadrons. Someone's yelling about the Portal VR mods. There's too much, and I'll tackle it in a future video. But for now, just focusing on what I like and what I think stands up the most and what works the best in VR. And that's the funnest to me. This is my list. And I appreciate you being here and putting up with me and this list. I hope that you guys will add to it in the comments, and I promise I'll make use of it down the line. I'm going to list every game I listed down below in the description, and anything from Meta, I'll be able to provide a 10% discount. It's a way of saving money and supporting my channel. And if you're toying with the idea of getting a headset, if you're here and it's new to you, then that website down below, it's also a great way to acquire a MetaQuest 3 or 3S headset while saving money. You'd be supporting my channel and saving cash along the way. Thank you again for being here. You guys are awesome. Please subscribe and like this video. It would mean the world to me. Godspeed.